for me. And then the only thing in my head that, I could think of was Greg saying, "Oh, there's a bus stop coming up." And, maybe it's time for people to start getting off because who I'm around is not who I want to be. And so I was like, "Ooh, that hit me hard." And then there was another one back, where was it? Um, on 101, where it's the letter uh, that he left Michael. He says, "You can be different. You can design your life." He goes on to say, "You may be 40 years old, but you have a good 40 years left. You can accomplish tremendous things in your remaining years if you will design them before you live them." And so for me, I have a hard time of getting caught up and feeling like there's not enough time for me to do what I want to do, or I'm not where I want to be right now. And I'm young, and I think it's just because the older people in my life have, kind of become stagnant and not grown, and I don't want to be that way. And so him saying that actually put it into perspective for me where, I may be young, but there's 40, 60 years to where I can grow and actually do something. So I was like, okay, maybe I do need to take a breath and not compare myself so much.
Yeah, Courtney, and I think it's a really great perspective that you got from the book. But I will tell you the reason that we usually hang out with the people that we hang out with most of the time are people that make you feel good about yourself or make you feel better about where you are in life because they're not as good as you, or they'll lift you up. I mean, I've been hanging out with Darren Mock for 20 years and he's never made me feel good. Like every single time we have a conversation, he tears me down. Greg Gray tears me down, which is what I like, right? I mean, because they're going to give me the real deal. And that's not comfortable sometimes, right? Like I will, I will ask Greg and Darren every single time. If Darren's on a training, he's going to be one of the first people I text and say, hey, how did I do? What can I do better? Right? Because I know he's going to be real and give me the real answer and not give you fluff. But most people don't choose that route. Most people choose the route that's going to make them feel better about themselves. And what that really does is that it gives us a false impression of how well we're doing or what we are possible doing. Because if you ask the people that are not doing as well as you, how well you're doing, they're going to be like, oh my God, you're killing it. Like, you're amazing. Like, I mean, I can't believe the discipline you have. And you're like, and if you're smart enough, you're like, okay, wait, I don't have the discipline that I need to have. But sometimes they make you feel like you do. So that's why we choose a lot of times the wrong way. But also the other reason is we want to fit in. And sometimes we don't fit in, right? And that's actually okay to not fit in. Because when you don't fit in is when you grow, and that's when you can inspire other people, when you're confident in your own skin. So I think all of us on here, we've all done that, right? I mean, we've all been told by our parents not to hang out with the wrong people in high school, choose your friends wisely, hang out with the people that are going to lift you up. But for whatever reason, people tend not to do that. And I think it's just something, what he talked about in this book, you have to make a conscious effort of going. I mean, if you guys missed it in the book, this guy went after, after learning from this person, like he was like, okay, I need to go back. I need to go back. I need to go back. And that's what you have to do in life. When you find someone that's willing to pour into you and really hold you accountable and really be honest with you, like you have to take the initiative to constantly go back and learn from somebody. But after you learn, apply, right? That's the key that he told him. Like, don't come back until you've actually applied what I've taught you. So that's the lesson I think in the book, that we need to go after those people. Like Courtney, you have a great individual in your operation that's right under your nose that probably most likely you don't utilize on a daily basis. And his name is Greg Gray. People are paying him lots of money to travel to South Dakota to speak to a CEO of a company in 91 years that you guys probably don't know this, but sat down with him and said, where have you been all my whole life? And you have access to him every single day. People on Darren's team got 25 years in corporate America. He's seen everything. Like, so the people that are right under your nose, like, utilize them, have conversations with them. Don't wait for them to come to you. Go to them and ask them the right questions, because people like Greg, myself, and Darren will pour into you if you ask the right questions. So just take that from this book and learn that one aspect of life is actually take the initiative to ask the right questions and keep asking questions until you've learned from them. Don't reinvent the wheel.
Well, the friend thing must have been something that caught everyone's attention because it caught mine too. So uh, you were just talking about Jay about the fact that we're told, don't hang around with the wrong crowd, and all of us were told that. But I think what we weren't told is that sometimes the wrong crowd looks like the right crowd. So the wrong crowd could have a really good job. The wrong crowd could have really nice house, really nice cars, but they're still the wrong crowd because of what we sometimes learn from them that is not helpful to us. It's kind of, when Courtney was talking about that, and you were mentioning that there was a line in here where he was talking about, do you have friends of convenience? So sometimes they're not even necessarily good or bad, they're just easy. So I don't really have to, you have to search for people that are really going to move the dial for you. But, if it's just the people that are around me, even if they're family, I talk to them every day because it's convenient to talk to them every day. So it doesn't really push me. One of the things that I saw that I really liked in here too was, I'm learning to be get stuff out of this that's more specific in terms of tactical stuff. And there was this page, now I can't find it, but it talked about the fact that that everybody in your life should be in one of three categories. You should either disassociate yourself with them, I believe, have limited association, or expanded association. Everybody in your life is in one of those three categories. And when I read that, it gave me pause because I started seeing all the people in front of all the people I know kind of lined up in front of me. I was like, yeah, you're a disassociate. Yes, even though you have the same last name as me, you're still a disassociation. You're an expanded association, but I haven't even called you in 3 months to even say hello to you. And it was like so glaring to me because I'm simple-minded about a lot of things, like most things, like everything pretty much. But being able to kind of see that it is that easy to say, no more of you, less of you, a whole lot more of you, and be able to see people in that and kind of, it really was, I don't know, it was very empowering for me to do that. The tricky thing though is that some of the people that I need to expand my association with, or will have had to done that earlier in my life, not so much now, intimidated me. So there were people that I knew I should be hanging around more with, but I was like, I don't know if that person is even going to take my phone call, or or what they'll think of me. Will they think of me as weak if I if I approach them? That kind of thing. That expanded group, though, tends to be the people that are most open and the most giving and most pouring forth. That has been my experience. And I'll tell you this one other thing. If you do it, you have to genuinely do it. If you're reaching out to someone to pour in, you have to genuinely do it. I think I may have said this on the book club before, but I will tell you that after traveling a lot, I probably have been approached by, I don't know, thousands of people at this point. Even if I rounded down, let's say it was 2,000 people after some speech, Darren, that said, I really want you to be my mentor. I love what you did. I love where 2,000 people rounded down. I gave every one of them my telephone number. I've probably heard from 7 of them over the last 15 years. So if you're going to do it, you actually have to do it. And actually, the reason I started giving my phone number out more freely is because I figured out, Jay, after a while, most of these people are not going to call me.
Yeah, no, but most people don't execute, right?
Right.
I mean, it's a good idea, then life hits them in the face, and most people are never going to execute on what they say they're going to do. It's true. I've done the same thing. I mean, many people have said, hey, I want to talk to you. I'll reach out to you. I want to have a conversation with you. And the thing is a mentor is never going to seek you out. Never, right? Because he's probably busy working on his own life. Right. Yeah, so he's never going to seek you out.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'll jump in, Greg, to kind of close out, or maybe we'll continue to expand the friend. one comments
Hey,
there.
Darren, your connection's not good.
He sounds drunk.
The comments there was about
Hey, Darren, can you hear us?
my freaking wife and her WebEx on the. Hold on. I'll mute. Hop on another Wi-Fi and the.
We should definitely not just be hearing parts of this. That last little part was very weird. Now I want to know what he's got to say. The rest of you hold. Everybody hold. I got to hear.
No, someone can go. He can go after. He's switching.
I wanted to jump in really quick. First off, just wanted to say hi to everybody and thank Jay for inviting me yesterday. He texted me. I miss all you guys, but I'm really appreciative of the fact that Jay reached out to me, sent me a few books that you guys have been reading. And I just wanted to, I completely agree with Jay always told it to me, you are the average of the 5 people you hang with. And that's something that my friend and I, Chris and I, always talk about. And I just wanted to jump in and say I completely agree with that. And it's something that, the thing I think I most agree with is that you tend to surround yourself with people that make you feel good about yourself because it's comfortable. So trying to get out of that comfort zone is something that's extremely important. And just to say that I decided to jump back on the book club. I'm excited to join you guys every Wednesday at 1. I'm looking forward to it and just seeing you guys every week and surrounding myself or ourselves with people that add value to our lives. So I'm really excited for that.
Awesome. We're happy to have you.
Did you go into business mass producing that Colombian coffee stuff or whatever that was? I still remember that from down in Florida. That stuff was amazing. So hopefully, you can get, if not, bottle some and send it up here.
Hi, Danny. We miss you so much. And I have to say one thing. You are always awesome about getting us out of our comfort zone and putting us where we needed to be and saying, not with that attitude and everything. So you're right on target. And it's going to be great to see you every Wednesday. And I love everybody's heads nodding back and forth about the people they're hanging around with. And it's so true.
Thank you, Barb. Thank you too.
All right, Darren, you can try.
I'll try this again.
If your wife's crappy.
No, she's got this resource hog over there. I'm on Zoom and WebEx, Cisco, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so great book. I think you get a lot of participation when you have a 100-page book. And I found my Christmas gift for people, because this is not, you give someone a book that's, Tools of Titans or something. So it's like, you just kind of gave me a burden. Now I feel guilty. I got to go do it. This one's concise. It's to the point. And I use the Kindle version. And what's great about it, and also a little bit time consuming, is there's so much on every page. Page 33, page 35, page 37. If I just look through my highlighted notes, it's dense. So there's a couple of them here. You cannot change your destination overnight, but you can certainly change your direction overnight. I think we kind of hinted around that, and I think that's really important. It doesn't mean like, hey, I'm there, but just decide what you want to do and then get started. It's one of the most powerful lessons in life. Days are expensive. When you spend a day, you have one less day to spend. So make sure you spend each one wisely, and that's really tough. I mean, everybody you kind of feeds into the crowd who you're surrounding yourself with. And to the point on the friends, can everybody hear me still? All right. So the point on the friends and influence.
That's your wife's WebEx.
Yeah, no. Influence is so subtle. It's like a little nudge. And each time you get together, this is with the wrong crowd, there's one more nudge in the wrong direction, towards the wrong attitude. It's down the path you don't want to be on. It's subtle. And that goes the same way when you're surrounding yourself with great people. And to Greg's point on disassociation, limited association, expanded association, literally over the last 3 weeks, and specifically an hour and a half ago, I put things on my calendar so I remember to call somebody and follow up. Or, hey, we'll get together. Hey, I'm going to talk to you on the weekend. Hey, I'm going to talk to you. And there's 3 people in particular I haven't talked to in a while, missed each other on a flight. I'm like, yep, for sure, we're going to talk. And I snooze. Now, let me snooze that. I'll call him later. Let me snooze that. I'll get back to him. It's California time. Again, urgent versus important. And it's important that you're connecting with people and that are going to bring you the right, influence you the right way, and you're not just chasing the urgent or the easy. I think we can categorize it that same way. The easy / urgent, things that are right in front of you, people that are convenient. situations that need immediate attention versus stepping back and being strategic, including who you surround yourself with. And there's a couple other when we've heard it, there's a few different things in here, literally every single chapter. And I love we've heard it in multiple books around sales. Everything is sales and influence. And salespeople should take lessons from their kids. What does the word no mean to a child? It has even a new meaning when we're doing homeschooling, by the way, and you are in that environment. You go to get something to drink and it's like, oh my God, what are you doing? But almost nothing, words mean nothing. When they want something, they ask and ask and ask and ask. The idea is that most people aren't persistent enough to succeed in sales or in life for that matter. And I think that's a powerful concept. Doesn't mean you go about it the exact same way, but are you as persistent? They say the faith of a child we should embrace. How about the persistency of a child when they want something? Oh, why not? Why not? Why not that for us and whatever we're trying to accomplish?
It's funny because that hit me the most, because that's the first word we learn in life is no, right? I mean, that's the first thing we say to our kids is no. So it's the first thing we know. So we say it first. Our whole life we say it first. And yesterday I went out and to get something to eat, and my daughter, we do this game. It's called Tutti Tutti Nanu, and I spin her around the circle and she dances and jumps and whatever. And so every time she sees me, she wants to do this. And so I did it with her for like 3 minutes, and then I said, okay, I gotta go back to work, got a meeting. And she's like, no. She starts crying. She sells me every single day, because she's just persistent, right? And finally, I just had to say, okay, I gotta go. You need to be with Clara. And so she's crying, putting on this act, like begging me. And so my nanny tells me that as soon as I went into my office and she went in to her room with her playroom, automatically her face changed. She was happy, she was playing, and it was just like, that didn't even happen, right? So it was her sales job of not giving up until I said yes, but I said no. And finally she was just like, okay, boom, next thing. And I think, us as salespeople, if we could do that, right? You don't accept a no, but then you just go to the next call and don't even act like you got another no. And it's like, if we can make that mental switch, but kids can do it. We can too. We just don't. We choose to let it take it personal and overcome us. So I love that you shared that example, because yesterday I was just like, it's like, she didn't really care that much that you played with her. It was just like she wanted you to, and she was trying to do everything. And then as soon as you walked away, she was like, all about her business. So it's very interesting.
Okay.
I would love to share. Oh,
go ahead, Brittany.
Hi. This is the first book I've read in about 6 months. So perfect book to come back to. Hi. I've missed book club too.
Explain, Brittany.
I don't want to give you my excuses.
Okay.
But I medical stuff, doctor appointments. But I moved my calendar around. I'm gonna be on book club moving forward.
I like that response. I wasn't expecting that response, but I love that response.
Really? Well,
yes.
There you go. What's funny is, so two things, well, a lot of things stuck out to me. But one of the things was, it's what it will cost you if you don't read it. So that's perfect for, I have to go back and read all those books that I missed because it's costing me. I'm actually making a plan to do that. So I thought that was funny, had to share as I come back into this. But the other thing is, the gift of relationships, time, effort, and imagination must be summoned constantly to keep any relationship flourishing and growing. I live, me and my husband are working remote. We're spending so much time together, but I really think we take it for granted because we're not actually being creative. We're not spending time together, doing date nights. We're just going through the motions and being around each other. But I think it can definitely grow more. And I think that that's necessary for marriage. So I thought that was super powerful to read and reminded me of the importance. Coming up on my 4-year wedding anniversary in November. So
nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Who was going to go before
me? Hey, everybody.
James. Good to hear from you, James.
Yes, likewise. Thank you. one of the things that I think stood out for me the most was chapter 7, being a lifelong learner. I know that people always equate education with, school and a degree and putting letters behind your last name. But the reality is you learn just as much just by living and being around the right people. And this is a great example of being, self-education, is being a part of book club. I've learned a lot about myself since I started book club. So, but there was one phrase in there. Self-education is what you teach yourself. It is what you learn along the way so that you are constantly, improving and growing. Most people don't continue to learn or grow. So the very fact that you are doing so means you are well on your way to improving your life. And I don't know why, but and Jay, you'll probably love this, but when I read this chapter, it really reminded me of Jay's story. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he didn't complete college, but he, Jay, I'll talk to you directly. You were able to kind of overcome that and become a success in your own right without having the degree behind or the letters behind your name and all of that stuff, because you took what you were learning in life and all of the lessons, all the mistakes and the things that you shouldn't have been doing. You learned from all of those things and you became a better person. And now you're here imparting all your wisdom and creating a group of like-minded, growth-minded individuals who want to become better. So I think for me, being in a mindset where you're learning something every day or just keeping your eye out for a new lesson every day is super important, and just as important as getting a degree in college and all that good stuff. So the School of Life is just as important as Harvard University or whatever other super college university you want to pick out. So that's my
to tell you guys, I allowed it to fuel me because I felt like I didn't have something that I should have had. So it made me overcompensate and go after education in a different way so that I could feel like I could be in a room with executives and CEOs and have a conversation with them because I was well read. And that's it can happen. You can either let it define you, the piece of paper, or you can let it drive you, is what I always tell people. Either it defines or drives. And most people let it define them. And that's why they stay put. And then they're not willing to do the work, because reading is work, until it becomes a habit and it's fun and you realize every day it's making you better. Like after reading a book like this, you're like, like these things. And the thing is these books not only help you in work, and I'm going to close this up with something that, every time I'm reading a book, even if it's a business book, marriage is a business. I don't care what you say. It's a business. You got to manage it like a business. It's a priority like a business. It costs money like a business. You got to invest in it like a business. So I always try to also take the side of my relationship, marriage, my children, and make sure that I'm paying just as much attention to that. And I've learned this from Darren. Darren is a great example of being a great husband, a great father. But I always try to take these tidbits, even if it doesn't discuss it, and try to apply it to all parts of my life, friendships, all those things. So I appreciate you saying that, James. I mean, I think, there's probably a lot of people on here that didn't finish college. That doesn't define you. That actually, you can actually make it drive you. And right now, we've read more books in the last 2 years, you guys, than most people read in a lifetime, even being in college. Because in college, you read a couple books and you write a couple reports and whatever, and they're books that really don't have anything to do with life, and they're not that important. And it's just, to see if you can actually have discipline to do something. So what you guys have accomplished on here already, and Brittany, if you go back and read those books, I'm telling you, it's shaping your mind and your future better than you could ever imagine. And as long as we stick with this for the next 20, 25 years, we're going to be able to impart our knowledge and legacy on our children, our grandchildren, and all those other people, and hopefully create those habits for other people. And Nicolette just got on with another stars thing. So definitely some bandwagoners here. Go ahead.
Hey, Jay, I wanted to add to what Brittany was saying earlier. Halfway through this book, I went back and pulled out The Go-Giver. And I looked at a lot of parallels in that book and this book. And the core of both of them basically lies in the fact that if you want help and you work hard enough and you reach out for resources, people are willing to help you. And every interaction that you have with somebody, you're going to come away learning something. You may come away learning that that person is somebody who isn't going to help you move forward, or that person is you found is your mentor, or you may find that they may be a resource in one aspect of life, but not in other aspects. And it all comes down to how dedicated you really are to making a change and recognizing your fault. And people will see that, and they will help you. And the 12 pillars for me, I mean, the same author, in my opinion, could have written The Go-Giver and the 12 pillars. And the fact that when I read that one book, it made me go back to another book that we'd already read and pulled out and noticed that it was a lot of the same lessons about how you dedicate yourself and how you treat others, and how you have to continue to grow as a person, because if you're not moving forward, you're moving backward. There's no standing still. So I didn't have a ton of comments here, but I just wanted to reinforce to Brittany, yes, that if you haven't read those books, we're seeing a repeat of a lot of the same type of messages, reinforcing the whole belief in it's about constant improvement, not necessarily through the books, but even through this medium that we're doing right now. Everybody in this group has something to offer, and the way that they interpret the book and the way that they share makes me look at a portion of the book that I read maybe in a completely different way, because we all have our own experiences. We all have our own mindsets, level of education that we bring to this, and a different perspectives raises all boats. And I look forward to this every single week. So that's basically all I had this week.
No, that's great, because I think with that mindset, you're going to read Sapiens a little differently. So it's because it's going to talk about the mind and how human beings have evolved, and so
it reminds me of one of my college textbooks. So far, I'm about 60 pages into it, and
it's good though. Hold on for the ride. It is very texty in the beginning, but it's important for you to understand the history, so that you can embrace the rest of what he's going to teach. So it's very good. Who else?
I have a quick question. Are we doing our children a disservice when they keep telling us, when we keep saying, don't keep asking me, don't keep doing this, don't keep doing that? To me, in a way, we're kind of squelching their talent for being persistent. And I'm just curious what other people's thoughts are about that, because I'm divided.
No, because I think it pushes them to keep going.
But that
pushes
really
me to stick to my guns.
Yeah, especially if they're going to be in sales.
Yeah, so I think the short answer to that, Barbara, is when you tell them no, explain the why behind the no, because a lot of people just tell people no and don't ask me that question again, but they don't tell you why. And I think if we could get kids to go after the why people are saying no, just like in sales, when someone says no to you, like, why? Is it because of price, product, or me? You know, are you not convinced? Do you not trust or like me? Just asking those right questions, right? I mean, if we can teach our kids to ask the right questions, but most of the time we were raised, I would ask why. I would ask why 1,000 times. And the answer that I always got from my father was, because I told you so. I mean, you don't question authority, right? So that was the wrong way to go about it. And thank God I didn't listen to that, because I always question people. I always ask questions from people. But I think that's the long answer, is we should teach them to ask why. So why is it no? And then we have to have the patience to sit down with them and explain why it's no.
Well, I think, and I like what you said there, telling them the why, because we talk about this in the workplace and everything, but it also subliminally teaches them to start with the why and be assumptive, because my kids are definitely better salespeople since they've been home with me. They come in with a different kind of attitude. It is much more assumptive. It is, hey, I'm going to do this and then you'll let me do this, right? And so they're changing the way that they approach it.
which may be a bad thing. So y'all pray for me.
All right, anybody else before I close this out?
Sure. Hi, guys. So we
Megan.
talked.
I was hoping not to follow you, Megan. Okay, go ahead.
Gosh, it's really interesting. Well, at least it was for me. So this whole book is great. I mean, we've talked about a lot of really good pieces. Before book club, I counted the pages of notes that I have. I have 27 pages of notes from this book, which is more than any book we've ever read. And this is clearly the shortest book. So that just alone solidifies what you said earlier, Jay, about the one-liners. There's so many good ones. But the one-liner that I think that we haven't talked about that completely gutted me and made me realize, wow, Megan, you need to work on this, was, have you ever noticed that some people take better care of their pets than they do themselves? First of all, I boil my dog chicken and rice and green beans, and I make this little gourmet meal. I take really good care of my pets. If they even have a sniffly nose, you're going to the doctor. We're getting you medicine. But for me, I'll put it off. I'm so quick just to say, oh, I don't have time tonight. I'm going to go get a burger from Five Guys. It's going to be quick. But if you think about it, if we put the same amount of care and love that we put into our animals, the creatures that we care about, into ourselves, I mean, it could be life-changing. And so that question from the second pillar of live a life of health definitely hit me in a big way. And so hopefully it will knock on some wood for you guys too.
That's a great takeaway, because I think a lot of people take better care of them kids than they do themselves. I know, like my wife is like that. Luna eats a very strict diet. She, wants to make sure she's putting all the right things in her, and then she'll do what you do. Like, hey, let's get a burger tonight. Let's do this. Let's do that. So it's very, very true. We tend to take care of people better than we do ourselves. Well,
Hey,
go ahead.
We tend to take care of our customers better than we take care of our families too. I just wanted to add that in there.
Yeah, that's very
true.
It's
not about food, but just about care in general. That's one I think about often.
That's a very, very true statement. Well, this, I want you guys, when I read this, I want you guys to think about your job, what you do. I want you to think about how you sell yourself in society and to other people when you meet them. And I want you to think about this when it comes to your family. So I want you to think about your work. I want you to think about yourself and just people outside of work, and then your family. So he says you need to know your stuff. You need to talk to lots of people and be persistent and never take no for an answer. That's around sales, right? But you could also apply that to all aspects of life. When someone is not answering a question that you want to learn from, ask another question, or as Darren says, ask a better question. And then first of all, know your stuff, Mr. Davis says. You can't speak that which you don't know. So in our business, if you don't know how to service a customer or how to sell a customer, you don't know the talk path, like, you're not going to be great for the customer. And are you spending every time on it? If you're not reading books, then how do you teach your kids? How can you teach your kids things that you don't even know? If you're not reading books on relationships, how can you treat your relationship and maybe have a different approach to your wife? You cannot share that which you do not feel. You cannot translate that which you do not have, and you cannot give that which you do not possess. To give it and share it, and for it to be effective, you first need to have it. And we talk about this in the insurance business. If you're going to sell an umbrella policy, you should have an umbrella policy. If you're going to sell life insurance, you should have life insurance. Like, if you don't have these things, how can you feel it and tell people that they need to have these things? If you don't work out every day, how can you consult somebody on their nutrition? If you don't eat good every day, how can you consult someone on your nutrition? How can you tell your kids you have to eat this and then you eat a burger? If you're going to sell a product, you have to know it, believe in it, and feel it. And the same is true if you were selling yourself. Meaning you have to believe in yourself before you can sell anything to anybody else. You have to believe in the product yourself before you can sell it to anyone else. As for talking to lots of people and succeeding in sales, and sales is selling yourself, not just to your customers, but in everyday life. Simply talk to lots of people every day, and here's what's exciting. There are lots of people. Law of large number, which means that a certain percentage will work with you or buy from you. If 10% do, then you will sell more if you call 40 people a day than if you do 10 people a day, right? If you're not hitting the numbers, that just means you need to talk to more people. Michael, Darren already talked about this. You should learn when you hear the word no, it doesn't mean anything. And when you hear the word no, they probably just don't understand, or you probably haven't done a good job of explaining why they should be doing business with you. And that's why when someone says no, like we talked about earlier, Barbara, why? Why is it no? Why are you telling me no? What did I do? Do you not like or trust me? Is the price too high? Do you not trust Allstate, the product? Or what I really found is when people don't buy from me, it's because of me. And that's also when you communicate with your wife. One of the things that I learned from here is asking the right questions. And it just talks about communication. And I'm going to end here. All communication brings to common ground understanding. Communication is two or more people working together to find the common ground of understanding. Even in sales, like you got to get to the common ground. Communication is two or more people working together to find common ground. Most of the time, each person is fighting the other person for their ground and to overcome his or her ground. This is a turf battle. Instead, each should look at the common ground, meaning we should listen. So this is the one that really got me that I want to leave you guys with. And I think this is going to help me in my relationship. It is also how you say it, when you say it, and the receptiveness of who you say it to. And that's just half of it. The other half is making sure you really listen. So it isn't just the meaning of, and you have to make sure the person is ready to hear what you have to say. If they aren't, save it, say it later. So this is one of the things that I battle with, figuring out what mood my wife is in that day and when I'm going to bring something up, right? And it always frustrates me. And actually, to be honest with you, kind of pisses me off, right? Because I always say like, God, I'm on eggshells. Like, when I want to say something, like if it's not the right time, you get upset. Well, that's just life, man. That's how it is. If they're not ready to hear it or ready to listen, then maybe you have to wait for it. And I always find myself now being like, okay, if we go on date night on Friday, maybe that'd be a good time to bring it up after the appetizer comes out and she's like in a good place and like we've held hands and I've opened her door for her and but that used to frustrate me. And now I'm just like, that's how I should be doing it. Actually, I should be waiting for the right moment because that's effective communication. Where for me, when I want to talk about something, let's just get it out there and let's hash it out. And so, communication, you have to find the right time, but it's also how you say it and when you say it. And I've always just had this philosophy, like I should just be able to say what I want. We should be able to have a conversation and you should get over it. And it just doesn't work like that. So that was my biggest takeaway that I want you guys, and that's in business, right? Like if you sense you're on a phone with someone and they're not in the right place today because they got 6 kids screaming in the background and they're saying no, like just say, you know what, probably today was a good time. And then actually call up and say that the next day. Be like, you know what, I know you said no yesterday, but I also know there were kids in the background, you were frustrated. And I just want to make sure that you weren't saying no because of that. And you were saying no because you didn't like or trust me. And just taking that effect with people and thinking about communication. Now, the thing is what tends to happen is you overthink it. I want to tell you not to overthink it, but just to think about it and communicate with your wife and ask, is this a good time to talk about this? But we most normally know if it's a good time to talk about something with somebody based on their mood or attitude. And, I had a conversation with, someone this weekend, a friend of mine, about expectations. And the conversation was, when my wife was not a great cook when I met her and dated her for 2 years, I can't expect her to be a great cook now that we're married because we're married, right? And she's like, she'll cop to it. I'm not a great cook. I don't like to cook. I don't enjoy cooking, right? So you have to be careful of the expectations when in a relationship that goes on. Like you knew the person before you married them. You knew how to communicate with them before them. So don't have expectations that you're not going to be on eggshells some days. Just communicate effectively. So thank you guys so much for sharing today. And I love sharing my examples with you because I really do try to apply these things that I learn in these books through my personal life, through business life, with my partnerships and everything that I do. So I hope you guys do the same thing, because the ultimate thing I would love to hear in 20 years from now is, man, this really helped me grow. But more importantly, it helped me leave a legacy. And that's really what I want this to do.
Hey Jay, I like the suggestion you made last week about this book, where you said, let's go ahead and apply one of the pillars for a week after we get to read the book, and then we share a little bit about that, and then we go over to the next book and things like that. So wanted to remind you about that, because I like that idea very much.
No, so I'm glad you closed with that, because that was my closing statement, Alex. Is next week we're going to start the meeting with the first 10 minutes, and I just want you guys to quickly go through and share how you apply the first pillar of this book, and then we're going to talk about Sapiens. But the first 10 minutes of next week, just really quick, this week, kind of like he did in the book, come to the meeting next week and say, this is how I applied the first pillar, and give us an example of that. But quick, we'll go through 10 or 12 of them, but we'll get to everybody within this week. So do that. So thank you, Alex, for closing with that. I'm glad you remembered. All right, guys, I got another meeting in 1 minute. So good to see you guys.